Okay, so we're doing linear relationships now and linear graphs. Now remember, linear graphs are very closely linked to the Cartesian plane. What I want to do is I want to show you this one that I've got here. Can you see that over there? What I want you to know, and if you need to write this down, make sure you do, this line is the x-axis. And I always think of it as a cross, because it goes across, and it actually is a cross. So think of it as the x-axis, and this is the y-axis. Now, if ever you have two numbers, so you've got a 2, 3, 2, the first number is always your x, and the second number will be your y. Okay? Remember, these are positive, these are negative, these are positive, and these are negative when you're plotting your numbers. Okay? So write that down if you don't remember. Right, let's go to the beginning. Now, what happens is we're going to give you a story, and we're going to say, okay, these are the values. You need to put them together so that you can plot your straight line. So the first one is copy and complete the following table of values for the rule y, I'll make that a bit bigger, is equal to x divided by 2 plus 4. So what you have to do each time, if we move this over, x over here would be negative 2. Over here will be negative 1, 0, 1, and 2. So you've got to take that x that's over here out and replace it with this number here. And when you get your answer, you put it in the y. So let's do that together. So if we take that x out there, let me get my pen, and we go negative 2 divided by 2 plus 4. So negative 2 divided by negative 2 will give me 1, or negative 2, 2 divided by 2 will give me 1, but a negative and a positive will give me a negative. So it'll be negative 1 plus 4. What does that give you? That gives you negative 1 plus 4 will give you 3. Yep. I had to think about that for a second. Sure, you didn't have to. Okay, so then you put in 3 over there. Right, so if we do the next one is negative 1. So negative 1 divided by 2, well, 1 divided by 2, 1 divided by 2, negative 1, I should say, divided by 2 will give you negative, will give you negative a half, so it stays the same. So negative a half plus 4 will give you negative 3.5. Will give you 3.5, not negative 3.5. So you put 3.5 over there. Okay, if we carry on, so we just have a look, we've got 0, 1, and 2. So 0 divided by 2 gives you 0, plus 4 will give you 4. Okay, 1 divided by 2 will give you a half, and plus 4 will give you 4.5. And then 2, so 2 divided by 2 gives you 1, 1 plus 4 gives you 5. So do you see how I've gone and I've worked out each one? I've actually taken out that x and replaced it. Let me just point to show you my pointing thing. Taken out that x, replaced it with that 2, and then done the sum. This is a pretty complicated one. You'll find some of them are really simple. Now what they're saying to you is, in this next line, x and y. So your x variable is negative 2, comma, and your y is 3. So remember, when you're going across will be negative 2, up and down will be 3. You find that position, you put a dot. This one will be negative 1 and 3.5. This one will be 0, which is the origin right in the middle, and 4. This one will be 1 and 4.5. This one will be 2 and 5. Okay, so now let me just make this back to so we can see it again. So what does it say? Use the table of values to draw a graph of the relationship. So this is the graph that you would have drawn. So let's look at that one. So let's look at this one here. You've got 2 and 3. So let's move it up. So over here we've got, let me just get my pointy thing again. Here we've got 2. Right, let me just check this one again. -2. I'm sorry, -2 and 3. That's confused me, man. Okay, so we've got -2 over here, and we've got 3 over there. So if we go up, that's our dot right there. Okay, and then the next one, let's pull it down. We've got -1 and 3.5. So let's have a look at that one. We've got -1, okay, and 3.5, which is there. That's it there. That's the one there. So what you do is you put all your dots in and you rule up. Remember that you need to have an x-axis, you need to have a y-axis. You only have to put the numbers that you need there, so you don't have to like make one that's got 15 on each side. Always have a look at your table, see how big your numbers go, and then you know how far you need to make it. Also, make sure that you put arrows on the end of all your lines, and most importantly, put in your equation over there. Okay, at close to one of that line that goes over there. All right. Let's see what else I wanted to talk to you about. Let's go to the next. Okay, x and y intercepts. So, make this a bit bigger so we can see it. An x-intercept of the graph is the point where the line crosses the x-axis. So you've got this line that goes like this. Where does it cross the x-axis? It crosses it on the -2. So the x-intercept, if you intercept something, I'm sure you guys know that from sport, you come into it in the middle of the game. So if you intercept it, you're coming in at -2, and where are you hitting it on the y? You're hitting it on the 2. So if they say to you where the intercept is. Something else which is important, now I do want you to write this down please, is your gradients. Now the gradients tell us the slope of the line. Now, if the line goes in this direction, so it's positive gradient, it slopes from the left to the right. So imagine, you know that your negative numbers are always on this side, your positive numbers, it's pointing towards the positive numbers. Okay, so it's going from left to right, it's a positive gradient. If it is pointing towards this way, so it's pointing towards the negative side, it has a negative gradient. Okay, and lines with the same gradient are parallel. So positive and negative. All right, don't forget that one. I don't think there's any more on this page. Let's go to the next. Right, in summary, linear graphs. A linear relationship can be used to complete a table of values, which is what I showed you. A table of values gives coordinate points on a Cartesian plane that can be joined. The graph of a linear relationship is a straight line. The point where the line crosses the x-axis is called the x-intercept. The point where the line crosses the y-axis is called the y-intercept. The gradient of the line describes the slope or the steepness. So you've got a positive. Remember I told you about the positive points towards the positive, negative points towards the negative. This is zero gradient, doesn't go anywhere, and this is an undefined gradient. All right, let's go ahead and see if we can do this chapter.